Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're really zeroing in on something fascinating happening in South Africa.
Yeah, specifically the high-end solventless cannabis scene that's really taking off there.
Exactly. And we're focusing on one figure who seems central to it all. Someone known as Big Green Buddha. Yeah?
And our sources, they really paint a picture, don't they? They track his journey, from doing small washes in Cape Town
Right, small
to
batches.
suddenly getting, well, pretty significant international attention.
So our mission today is sort of understanding that jump. How does a South African hash maker become this symbol of Africa's rise in the global melt scene?
It's a great question. And I think we need to start with that term solventless craft.
Yeah, good point. Because it's not just a marketing term here, is it?
Not at all. It's very specific. It means using only ice, water agitation, maybe some heat and pressure for rosin later. No butane, no CO2, none of that.
So it demands a lot of skill and, I guess, really good starting material, too.
Absolutely. And the sources explicitly label Big Green Buddha as a hash maker and Rosin baker, who's really like championing this specific method there on home soil.
He's setting a standard then, basically showing that you don't need to be in California or Spain.
Exactly. He's proving world-class melt, the really top-tier stuff can come straight out of Cape Town. It's about the technique, not just the location.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit more then. Who is Big Green Buddha, really? And what is it about his specific Cape Town cold cure craft that makes it stand out so much, and frankly, worth so much?
Well, one thing that jumps out from the sources is his focus. It seems less about hype and more about documentation and education.
How so?
He's apparently really into showing the clean technique, getting consistent resin, and importantly, sharing educational notes, like explaining the process.
Right, I see these terms here. Cold cure technique, micron talk, live wash notes. Okay, let's take micron talk. For you, the listener, maybe not deep in the hash world, what does focusing on microns tell us?
It signals precision. Microns refer to the mesh screen size used to filter the trichomes, the resin glands, after they're washed off the plant.
Okay.
The really pure, potent heads, the ones with the best flavor, they typically fall into specific size ranges, often like 73 to 120 microns.
So by talking about microns constantly, he's showing
He understands the science of isolation, getting only the best resin heads without plant contamination. It's a sign of real technical focus, obsession almost.
Got it. It's about that deep level of detail. And, that attention obviously paid off locally pretty fast.
It seems so. The sources mentioned him getting early shine, as they put it, from a feature on the Hotbox Show's Instagram segment.
Ah, okay. So that was kind of the breakthrough moment, putting his stuff in front of South African connoisseurs.
Seems like it was foundational, yeah. It helped him build that bridge to actual retail.
Which is crucial. And we actually have some specifics here. If you're looking for his hash rosin in SA, you'd go to places like Whoomph or Gooddope.
That's what the sources say, yeah. And they mentioned specific strains he's worked with, like Dolce Dank and Grandpa's Cookies. Sounds good, honestly.
They do. And this is where it gets really interesting, I think. The price.
The valuation tells the story.
It really does. The sources state his jars are typically moving between R885 and R1200 per gram.
Right.
Now, just to give you some context, listener, R1200 Rand, that converts to roughly 65 US dollars per gram.
Yeah, that's a serious price tag. That's international top shelf pricing right there in the local market.
It says a lot about the quality, or at least the perceived quality, doesn't it? And that the market there is ready for this level of product.
Absolutely. It's validation.
But hang on, that R1200 price point, while it definitely validates the craft, does it clash a bit with this idea of him being an educator? I mean, if it's that expensive, isn't he kind of pricing out the very people he might be trying to educate locally?
That's a really sharp question. And I think that's where his core philosophy comes in. The sources frame it as method over clout.
Okay. Explain that.
The high price isn't necessarily the goal in itself. It's more like the result or the proof that the meticulous method actually works and has value.
Ah, okay. So by commanding that price, he's proving the worth of the whole high-end, solventless approach for the region.
Precisely. It validates the standard.
Yeah.
And that validation maybe allows him the platform to educate. The sources are pretty clear. His work leans much more towards education than just chasing fame or clout.
So he's not just following trends, he's trying to set a lasting standard.
Exactly. He's taking things like cold curing, micron sizes, complex stuff, and breaking it down for this growing African hash audience that wants reliable info. He's positioning himself as someone sharing knowledge, not just product.
Which makes sense of that title he gets in the sources. A Cape pioneer and culture preserver. That's quite a label.
It is. It implies he's not just making hash. He's consciously trying to build a foundation, setting technical standards for others who follow.
And the goal is clearly ambitious. To put South African hash right up there with the best globally.
Yeah, the sources quote this idea. No gimmicks, just clean technique. That seems to be the guiding principle. And that focus on pure technique is probably what let him jump from local figure to, well, the global stage.
And according to the sources, that jump happened fast. Like, 2024 was a big year.
They really seemed to accelerate then, yeah. The quality must have just spoken for itself. He got featured by Masters of Rosin LA.
Which, for our listeners, Masters of Rosin is a pretty big name, right? In the solventless world.
Oh, absolutely. Getting featured by them is like a major stamp of approval. It signals to everyone globally that your quality is legit.
And it wasn't just features. He started appearing on judging panels, event lists, like for the Full Moon Sesh.
Right. And when Full Moon Sesh started doing more international editions that year, it created this direct pathway. Suddenly you have African resin being judged and showcased on these global platforms.
So he wasn't just learning from abroad. South Africa, through him, was contributing its expertise back out.
Yeah, it's fascinating how quickly that local focus, the teaching, the technique, how fast it translated into real international credibility, which, leads us to that big collaboration in 2025.
The ultimate sign of respect in this scene, often.
Pretty much. He teamed up with Terplings. The project was called Gold Dust Edition 1 of the Solventless Saga.
Okay, Gold Dust and Solventless Saga sounds like they planned more. What was special about this particular team-up?
Well, it seemed very intentional. The branding was specific. Fusion. Pressed to perfection. That word, fusion, seems key.
Merging two things.
Right. Merging top-tier methods with, the unique starting material and story from Cape Town, and merging his technical reputation with Terplings, perhaps more playful, art-driven brand.
So capturing the DNA of both. The art, the clean melt, the global reach.
Exactly. It cemented his standing, I think, showed he could collaborate at that highest level, and calling it Edition 1 of the Solventless Saga suggests, a longer-term vision. It fits that culture preserver idea again, but on an international scale.
Okay, so let's pull back. We've covered the craft, the local scene, the prices, the educational angle, the global rise, the collaborations. If you had to synthesize all this for someone listening, what's the main takeaway about Big Green Buddha's impact?
I think the key takeaway is that he represents a really conscious, sophisticated shift happening in the South African cannabis scene. Maybe even a blueprint for other regions.
The shift how?
A shift away from just being a regional player towards actively demanding a spot on the global stage.
Yeah.
And doing it based purely on, technical skill and the quality of the solventless product.
So merit over geography.
Precisely. He's proof that if your technique is flawless, if your product is clean and consistent, the global high-end market will find you wherever you are. His success is really about elevating the technical bar for everyone.
That really does set an incredible benchmark.
Okay, building on that,
Yeah.
let's think about that Cape Pioneer role again. If this is the standard being set, this intense focus on education, technique, quality backed by global prices, what effect might that have? As more African makers emerge, does this focus on pure technical merit potentially reshape global competition? Does it change what craft even means worldwide?
That's a deep question. Does that intense focus create a new kind of barrier, maybe?
Yeah.
Or just a higher standard everyone needs to meet?
Something for you to definitely mull over.
An excellent thought to end on.
We'll catch you next time for the next deep dive.